This video is brought to you by Imprint. Today, Israel launches heavy strikes on Lebanon as the international community urges restraint, a Trump-backed candidate faces dramatic accusations in North Carolina, and Germany prepares for an election that could be make or break for Chancellor Scholz. From TLDR News, this is your daily briefing for Friday, 20th September 2024. Israel has carried out its most intense airstrikes on Lebanon in nearly a year of conflict, in an escalation that follows an earlier unprecedented pager and walkie-talkie attack. On Tuesday and Wednesday, pagers and walkie-talkies used by Hezbollah exploded across Lebanon, killing 37 people and wounding around 3,000. While Israel has not confirmed or denied its involvement, the attack is widely believed to have been carried out by Israel. In the airstrikes late on Thursday, the Israeli military said that for 2 hours, its jets struck hundreds of Hezbollah rocket launchers in southern Lebanon that Israel says were set to be fired immediately towards Israel. The Israeli strikes followed a speech by Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah in which, referring to the pager and walkie-talkie explosions, he said, "Yes, we were subjected to a huge and severe blow," adding that the enemy crossed all boundaries and red lines, and vowing to retaliate. During his speech, Israeli jets flew low over Beirut, causing sonic booms. The heightened conflict has left the international community scrambling to prevent an all-out war between Israel and Hezbollah. The White House warned both sides against an escalation of any kind, and UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy called for an immediate ceasefire between the two. Diplomats from the US, UK, France, Germany and Italy met yesterday in Paris ahead of a UN Security Council meeting planned for today. Meanwhile, the UN's peacekeeping force in Lebanon, which said it had witnessed a heavy intensification of the hostilities across the Blue Line, the Israel-Lebanon border, urged all actors to immediately de-escalate. Israel says that its goal is to ensure the safe return of evacuated northern Israelis to their homes in Israel's north, and has vowed that Hezbollah will pay an increasing price. Meanwhile, Hezbollah says that it will continue its rocket attacks on northern Israel as long as the war in Gaza continues, with Nasrallah saying neither strikes nor assassination nor an all-out war will stop Hezbollah's attacks. The only way is by, quote, stopping the aggression on the people of Gaza and the West Bank. There's more on the way, but remember to subscribe and ring the bell for more daily briefing on Monday. Plus, if you want to support the channel, like Dave Parr, then consider joining the TLDR Daily Membership Program for just $1.99. The race for the North Carolina governorship took a dramatic turn on Thursday after CNN published an explosive report on Republican candidate Mark Robinson. According to CNN, Robinson, already known for his extreme views and promotion of various conspiracy theories, made, quote, a series of inflammatory comments on a pornography website's message board more than a decade ago, in which he referred to himself as a black Nazi and expressed support for reinstating slavery. Gratuitously sexual and lewd comments predating his entry into politics were made by Robinson between 2008 and 2012 on a porn website and forum called Nude Africa, using a profile that listed his full name as well as an email address he used on numerous websites across the internet for decades. Robinson, the incumbent North Carolina lieutenant governor, won the Republican nomination for the gubernatorial election earlier this year, having been endorsed by Donald Trump, who described him as Martin Luther King on steroids. Robinson's campaign has denied the allegations made in the CNN report and vowed to stay in the race. However, this is just the latest scandal involving Robinson's extreme comments, so it could further damage his position in the key state. Not only are the Democrats hoping to maintain control of the North Carolina governorship this November, but the state is also viewed as a crucial swing state in the presidential election, with the Kamala Harris campaign investing significant resources in the hopes of flipping the state blue. In other news, Germany is gearing up for another highly anticipated state election on Sunday, this time in the eastern state of Brandenburg, that could be make or break for Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Brandenburg is the third East German state this month to hold a state election, after Thuringia and Saxony a few weeks ago, where the far-right Alternative for Deutschland, or AfD, made historic gains, coming first in Thuringia and a close second in Saxony. The AfD are hoping for similar success on Sunday in Brandenburg, the state that surrounds Berlin. Unlike in Thuringia and Saxony, however, this state election is a crucial test for Chancellor Scholz and his Social Democrats, or SPD, for whom Brandenburg has traditionally been a stronghold, having been in power there for 34 years. The AfD have been polling in a fairly comfortable first place, however the SPD have seen a considerable last-minute surge in the polls, which now suggest it will be a close race. Should the SPD fail to win, it would be just the latest flashing warning light for the ruling party with a year to go until the next federal election, and could prompt it to ditch Scholz in favour of a new leader who they hope might be able to turn things around and avoid an electoral wipeout. We'll bring you the results from Brandenburg next week, so keep an eye out for that. Over to Hong Kong now, where a 27-year-old man has become the first person to be sentenced under a strict new national security law. On Thursday, a court sentenced Chu Kai-pong to 14 months in prison for sedition after he wore a t-shirt that read, "Liberate Hong Kong, Revolution of Our Times." The date Chu wore the t-shirt was also significant, as it was the 12th of June, the 5th anniversary of violent clashes between pro-democracy protesters and Hong Kong police back in 2019. For context, the law in question, known as the Safeguarding National Security Ordinance Law, was introduced in March 2024, and it gives the government powers to convict people for crimes including treason, insurrection, theft of state secrets, sabotage, and so-called external interference. It's a highly controversial piece of legislation that has been criticised for its role in stifling media freedom and civil liberties in Hong Kong, which has steadily come under greater influence from Beijing over the past few years. Chu's sentencing also comes a month after another landmark ruling, when 2 journalists from the newspaper Stand News were found guilty of sedition. This was the first sedition case against journalists since the UK gave back control of Hong Kong to China in 1997. And finally, today's uplifting story is about a couple from Manchester who tied the knot in a second-hand charity shop, spending a grand total of £200 on their sustainable wedding. Bride Nina and groom Stefan got married at the Emmaus Mosley second-hand superstore in Tameside earlier this month, using an eclectic mix of old dining chairs and church pews as seating. The engagement ring, decorations, glassware, crockery, and several guests' outfits all came from the charity shop. The newlyweds have supported the Emmaus Mosley store for more than 15 years. Bride Nina said she could never put a price on their wedding, and added, "You can only get to have a wedding like that by being part of a really strong community and by having some amazing friends." The charity supports people who've experienced homelessness by providing them with shelter, companionship, support, and work opportunities. The shop's retail manager, Hazel Hodkinson, said, "This is the first time in our charity's 27-year history that we've held a wedding, and we believe it may be the first wedding in a UK charity shop too." Fans of TLDR like you care about understanding the world around them. That's where today's sponsor, Imprint, comes into play. If you care about building a life of learning, then Imprint is the app for you. It's a brand new way to learn built from the ground up. And seriously, unless you've used the app before, you likely haven't experienced something like this. That's because Imprint is beautifully illustrated and animated, creating a highly visual, bite-sized and interactive learning experience. It's the perfect antidote to a world where social media tries to keep us mindlessly dopamine scrolling day in, day out. The library includes courses on topics like psychology, history, philosophy, finance, productivity, and many more quick reads you can consume in a single setting. In fact, I've been using the Essential Philosophy Theories and Thinkers course, and it's been an excellent way to brush up on some knowledge from university that I genuinely thought was lost. With all the developments happening these days, from elections to AI to geopolitical tensions, it's been helpful to revisit some of the world's greatest thinkers. So, make yourself feel better about your screen time, build a real habit of learning every day, and join the millions of people using Imprint. Plus, if you use the link in the description, the first 200 people will get 20% off an annual plan. Plus, they'll know you came from us.